Hello, this is Beastly Eel with another Eel Talk, and on this episode, we're talking about the latest episode of The Bad Batch. As always, with these videos, I'm going to talk about the episode as itself, and then we're going to talk more of where I think the series is going based off of what we learned in this episode. So, the episode starts off with them apparently finishing a mission for Sid, and they escape after being bombarded. They stole some sort of lizard creature. We see Wrecker with few more headaches um, than normal. So they land anyway, and they give the thing to Sid, and she gets payment for it, obviously. So she gives a portion to them. Wrecker and Omega leave to go do their ritual. Um, and with their ritual, they are eating like what looks like popcorn, but it's obviously not popcorn. It's some sort of popcorn-like thing in space. I don't know. They like it. It's apparently good. And they get kind of, how do I put it? Very small contribution. Um, and Sid basically says, "Well, you're lucky I'm not taking more since you owe me all this money." Blah blah blah. So they find out all the stuff that they owe her and all this stuff. And basically states that you're gonna need to start doing a bigger run for me, since the last mission you had you were supposed to get the Imperial, I'm sorry, oh my gosh, the robot head, and they failed to do so because that would have been a big score for them, and that they would be able to, pay off their debts for it. While they're having this conversation, gunfire goes off, and they all run out to see what was happening, and it turns out to be another clone, a clone that we all know well. It is Rex. He apparently scared off two random people because he didn't start it himself. They were trying to have their seat back because Rex was sitting in it, and Rex just didn't want to have anything to do with it. So they go into it. They introduce themselves. Sid's not happy because she's like, "Great, another clone. I don't take in any more strays, and this isn't some clone clubhouse." So they catch up on kind of what was going on. Um, Apparently, Rex is considered to be killed in action. Um, which is weird, because it made in Rebels it made it seem that he was in the Empire at some point. Um, so hearing that he was killed in action, I mean, I guess he was part of the Empire at one point and then disbanded, but I think it's unclear. But he's definitely under the radar, and he's trying to avoid the Empire completely as much as possible. Um, as they're talking, Wrecker and Omega come in. Rex is kind of surprised that there's a female clone. While this is going on and he's meeting everybody, Wrecker has another headache, and that's when Rex pulls out his rifle, pulls out his pistol, and he's basically like, "You guys are dangerous right now. If you still have the inhibitor chips in your head, that's a huge problem. I've seen so many people get obliterated because of these chips, and you need to remove them as soon as possible." So they agree that they're going to get it removed, but they don't know how. So Rex says he's going to take care of something, and he'll let them know once he figures it out. Wrecker's headaches become worse as time goes on. So they obviously get a message from Rex because Rex tells them to meet him at a specific place. During this trip, we notice Wrecker's behavior changing significantly, a little more aggressive than normal. We have Tech who's doing a scan on Wrecker on exactly where the chip is in his brain, and Wrecker is not happy with it whatsoever, and he removes the device. And Wrecker's just really not pleased in general because he doesn't want something done to him, because he doesn't want his head opened up. So you get to this planet, and it is apparently a ship graveyard. Apparently, after Order 66, all the obliteration of everything going on, several of the cruisers were destroyed and happen to be on this planet. So Rex finds them and kind of explains what the deal is and how on a cruiser like that in the med bay, that's where his inhibitor chip was removed. So we also find out that the scavengers run that area because we spot them, which is interesting. So they try to avoid them. So they get to the cruiser and they're getting inside and everything. And while they're trying to get to the not med wing, med area, um, they have to like travel across this vast area. Um, under at the very bottom, there's water. So they use a cable and they get across. Everyone gets across, and Wrecker's the last one. Wrecker doesn't do well with heights, so he's claiming that his head's fine now and that he's okay and he doesn't need to cross. So they make him, and as he's going across, because of his weight, because of how big he is, the cable snaps and he falls down. A creature tries to eat him. It's a lot of up and down. They eventually shoot the creature enough to get it away from him. Wrecker climbs up and he's not happy. So they make it to the med wing, med area, whatever you want to call it. Echo turns it on, and Tech begins to do another scan of Wrecker's head. While this happens, Order 66 starts in Wrecker. He attacks Tech first, then they all try to split up. So Hunter tells Omega to hide, and that they'll deal with it. So outside it's Echo, Rex, Hunter versus Wrecker. And they're all just trying to stun him while Wrecker's trying to kill them. Wrecker keeps, saying the same lines that were said by other clones, that any clone that is in direct violation of Order 66 is a traitor, and he starts beating them up, attempting to shoot them and kill them. So he already took Tech out. Omega stays in the room. He then throws Echo at Rex as Rex trying to stun Wrecker. It stuns Echo, and Echo slams into Rex. Hunter and Wrecker go at it. It looks like Hunter has got a good advantage. He keeps hitting him in the head as much as he can, but eventually gets thrown and knocked out. Right before he gets he's getting choked out, there's a shot fired, and it's from Omega. I think she misses on purpose, but that being said, she's also not a great shot to begin with, so it's going to be hard to tell on that one. That's when Wrecker goes after her. She tries to hide. Um, it doesn't work. And she is pretty far too. I mean, she keeps him on his toes, but because she distracted him long enough, Rex actually stunned Wrecker. So they drag Wrecker into the surgical bot, and they remove the inhibitor chip. And they have to wait until he becomes conscious again to find out whether it worked or not. He becomes conscious again, and he is fine. So then they proceed to remove the inhibitor chip of all the others. Um, and the weird thing was that Echo needed his removed, and I didn't realize his was still in there because of all the kind of tech that was put into him. I kind of thought it was just already gone, but clearly that's not the case. Um, so the Hunter Echo and Tech had theirs removed, and they go to leave. Rex asks Hunter. So actually, they haven't left yet. Sorry. Rex and Hunter leave the area and they go outside of the Star Cruiser, and they're talking. And Rex is offering, to have him help, fight against the Empire. And Hunter's really like, no. He goes, I got my own priorities now. And but he's like, if you're ever in a bind, you know how to reach me. And Rex understood, and he leaves. And what happens is we see the scavengers zooming in and seeing Hunter, and they then announce to each other, because there's two of them, that they're going to let the Empire know that they're clones of a Star Cruiser, and that's how the episode ends. So the inhibitor chips have been removed from them, from the Bad Batch, which means there's no chance of them becoming evil now, which is excellent. Um, Rex is staying out of it as best he can, but he's still fighting a fight. So, and this is kind of contradictory to what was happening, or at least what was perceived in Rebels, because it made it seem like Rex was a part of the Empire. Now, granted, anything could still happen. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's a little odd to me. I'm wondering when he stops working with the rebellion, because he does at some point, unless they completely change it. But I doubt they will. They're normally good at trying to keep the consistency going. So we'll see what happens. So what I think is going to happen is obviously the Empire is going to be involved in the next episode, hunting down the Bad Batch. What I think the Bad Batch are going to do now is they're going to try to get Crosshairs. What they're going to try to do is stun him like they did Wrecker and remove the chip from him. I think that's going to be their main focus now, because now that they know it can be removed and can be cured, that's going to be their main priority. Now we also have the bounty hunter that's against them, which I think we'll find out next episode if it's the Empire or not. But I doubt the Empire would put a bounty on them because they'd want them for themselves. But we'd know for sure in the next episode, because if we see her there, we know the Empire called her to take care of it. But that being said, like I said, definitely the Bad Batch's main priority is probably trying to get their family back together, and that would be stunning Crosshairs and removing his inhibitor chip. But that's pretty much it for me right now. I can't think of anything else. This was a good episode in the sense of we now don't have to worry about Wrecker turning on them anymore because it's been removed. But for now, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Also, make sure you watch The Bad Batch. It's on every Friday, I believe, up until the end of July, because there's 16 episodes total, and I think this was episode 7. But for now, this is Beastly Eel signing out. Have a good night.